Hello, dearies. Welcome to Super Grads, and I am your English mentor, Sana Jafri. And I welcome you to IPMAT Indore 2024 Paper Solution Series. We're, of course, doing the VARC section, and to be precise, we're doing question 20 to 24 here. Right? So, what are these questions based on? As you know, that we have segregated this topic wise, right? So, today we are going to take up grammar. So, these questions belong to grammar. So, how comfortable are you with grammar? All right, I'm sure you are. But anyway, let's see whether you can crack these questions accurately or not. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I would just say one very important thing to you. I've seen students performing well in grammar, but then some or the other places they do stutter, they do stumble. And why does this happen? This happens because they approach grammar very intuitively or instinctively. Of course, we do have a sense of grammar hardwired in us because that's how we've learned language. So naturally, we do understand structures, right? But is this good enough for the examination? Can we keep on attempting grammar questions intuitively? Like what feels right, what sounds good? Please understand, this is not going to help us. Can we really fall back on our intuition? Not always. While at places you can, but not always, because the examiner has actually set some traps for you, right? And to be able to elude those traps, you must know the technicalities, right? तो grammar को methodically हमें approach करना है, हमें rules पता होने चाहिए. Why not arm ourselves up with some knowledge of grammar so that we can ace the section really well? So चलिए start करते हैं. Let's move to the first question of the day, question 20. So typically we got all questions in this format, which is the sentence improvement format, right? So here the underlined phrase has to be replaced by a grammatically correct option, but then mind you also have to look at the logic side also, because this has to make sense. So you have to understand the sentence also and pick the most suitable one, right? Okay. He is very careless and has loosed his keys all the time. Oh my God, this looks like murder of grammar, right? What is this? So he is very careless. We are talking about the present tense. We have used the present tense. And we're talking about his habits. And whenever we refer to habits, right, which tense do we use? We should use the simple present tense or the present simple tense, whichever way you want to call it, right? So was losing his keys does not make sense. Why shift to past tense unnecessarily? Is losing his keys all the time? Loses his keys is a very safe choice, right? Because this is a habit that he keeps repeating. Has, loses, oh my God, this is just like totally out of structure. So your answer has to be option C. Are we clear with this much? All right, next one. I have been having a headache, so I will not attend the meeting, right? Okay, fine. So when you read the sentence, it just strikes you something is not fine with it. What is the problem? Suddenly there's a leap in the tense. Here you were talking about past and suddenly you jump to the future tense. Does not make sense. Here I must use something which is in the present. Okay? So I have a headache would be good. Now here these are two close choices. I have a headache versus I have headache. आप बताओ what would work? क्या सही होगा? Have a headache या have headache? Well, the answer is B, beta. We always say have a headache. Okay, remember this. For all those of you who were unversed, remember this always, right? Was having a headache, and as I had told you, that there is no point. Why would we jump from the past tense to the future tense? मुझे सर दर्द है, इसलिए मैं मीटिंग अटेंड नहीं करूंगी. So of course A is wrong. Used to have again is ridiculous, and this of course is not the right format. Answer is B, beta. Is this much clear? Okay, so I believe this was easy. अभी तक तो बहुत ही easy peasy चल रहा था सब कुछ. Now we move over to question 22. Trust me, even this is easy. Yes, what do you think should be the answer? Please pause the video, crack it, share your answers with me. I would be very happy and elated to receive your active response. Okay. And towards the end of the session, yes, I have to discuss the assignment that I had given to you in the previous session. I very well remember that. Okay. The negotiations are unsuccessful and the board's hopes to continuing talks on a future deal seems to be increasingly improbable. Negotiations are not working out, right? Unsuccessful है. और बोर्ड की जो उम्मीदें थी कि भाई हम फ्यूचर में बात करेंगे, डील क्रैक कर लेंगे, वो भी क्या लग रही है? इम्प्रॉबेबल, इम्प्लॉजिबल लग रही है. ऐसा लग रहा है हो नहीं पाएगा. Anyway, let's have a look at the options. The first thing that you should notice is this. बहुत बेसिक सी चीज है, बचपन में पढ़ी थी हमने, राइट? ये आना चाहिए या ये आना चाहिए. Do we know the difference between these two? Of course, we're talking about one board. There is no reference of multiple boards. That does not make logic. Fine. So there's one board and the hopes of the board. So this should be the right one that we must select. Because here this means that there are many boards. I hope you know. आपको ये चीज पता है कि जब कोई चीज सिंगुलर है तो हम अपोस्ट्रोफी एस लगा देते हैं उसका पोजेशन बताने के लिए, लेकिन अगर वो चीज प्लूरल है तो हम अपोस्ट्रोफी लगा देते हैं, दोबारा एस नहीं लगाते. दैट इज वेरी अननेसेसरी, राइट? सो यहाँ पे लॉजिकली आप दिमाग लगाओगे तो यही सही लग रहा है हमको, बाकी हर जगह ये है. फिर भी लेट्स चेक ऑन, लेट्स नॉट बी इन अ हरी, राइट? बोथ होप्स टू कंटिन्यूइंग टॉक्स ऑन अ फ्यूचर डील सीम लुक्स फाइन. अगर आप देखें तो सब्जेक्ट वर्ब एग्रीमेंट का भी प्रॉब्लम है यहाँ पे. यू नो इन क्वेश्चंस यू विल सी दैट देयर आर गोइंग टू बी मल्टीपल माइन्यूट एरर्स हियर एंड देयर. Fine, it was not just about this, it's also about subject verb agreement, okay, and it's also about this, the right adjective for talks. So multiple things in a single option. Here आपका सब्जेक्ट क्या है? बोर्ड्स होप्स. होप्स जो है वो उस पे फोकस होना है. होप्स जो है वो इम्प्रॉबेबल सीम कर रही है. तो क्योंकि बिकॉज दिस इज प्लूरल, right? So this is plural and this is my subject. So seem would be right. I don't want any S in my verb now. S for singular, I always tell my students. So when my subject is singular, I must have some verb with S in it, right? Yahan pe it should be simply seem and this makes good sense and this is my answer. Right? That's it. It's simple. Next one, question 23. Hanji. So you can feel the level up, right? Let's have a look. In my opinion, the psychological thrillers of Alfred Hitchcock, who is a master of suspense and horror, have more lasting impact than any other filmmaker in history. Okay. Let's have a look carefully. What is your subject? The psychological thrillers. And ye jo bhi hai na, who is a master of suspense and horror, this is simply describing Mr. Alfred. And so this is what we technically say a non-restrictive clause. This is simply there to furnish some additional information about the subject, and so this has no bearing on your subject verb agreement. इसको आपको ध्यान ही नहीं देना है. Take it like brackets and इससे आपका कोई भी चेंज नहीं आएगा आपके सेंटेंस में, राइट? सो योर सब्जेक्ट इज नॉट मिस्टर Alfred, योर सब्जेक्ट इज थ्रिलर्स और साइकोलॉजिकल थ्रिलर्स, राइट? उसके हिसाब से हम देखें हैव आएगा क्या? Are having is are having correct? Are having to normally we don't say, right? I've told you that have, we normally prefer to use it in the simple tense, not in the continuous tense, right? So this is anyway out. And are, okay, are चल जाता, but having ऐसा structure सही नहीं है. Has had, have had. Because this is plural, I cannot choose has. It should be have. have had a more lasting impact than those of any other filmmaker. This is also so important because you're comparing the thrillers by Mr. Alfred to the thrillers created by some other filmmakers. So you must use than those of when you make comparisons. Apples cannot be compared to oranges, right? So you have to compare like. So than that of, than those of. I hope you remember that construction. Had more lasting impact than any filmmaker? No, you are not comparing the filmmaker with the psychological thrillers. So your answer has to be option C. That's the best bet. Yes. Let's attempt this one. Anji, what do you think? While the bustling city streets were filled with the cacophony of honking horns and chatter of pedestrians, the serene countryside, where time seems to move at a slower pace, provide a welcome retreat for their seeking solace amidst the chaos of urban living. So now I see some nice words here, right? Vocabulary lessons out there for you. Bustling city, right? Very active, crowded, full of activity. Okay, cacophony is noise. Okay, pedestrians, people who walk. Fine, honking horns, blowing horns, making noise. Serene is calm, right? So, what does the sentence mean? You are very clear with that. That's contrasting the bustling city with the serene countryside. Okay, countryside provides a retreat. Retreat is a place where you can retire, when you can relax and rejuvenate yourself, right? So grammatically अब जरा देखते हैं, what is your subject here? Serene countryside provides. Again, this is a non-restrictive clause. You don't have to worry about it. Your subject is countryside, which is singular, right? But this does not help much because now this is a very important point. While the bustling city streets were filled, that means the main clause is in the past tense. Now that it is in the past, we understand that all the verbs should be in the same form. Okay, so we need a past tense even here, right? So it should be provided. So I will eliminate option A and B. Now we just left with C and D. Let's read that. Provided a welcome retreat for those seeking solace. Solace is peace. Looks good. Provided a welcoming retreat for who seeks solace? Who seeks solace? For those who seek solace. Yeah, for those seeking solace. Either way, you can work it out, right? So a better choice certainly is going to be option C. And now regarding the assignment that I had given to you, what is to put someone on? It is to deceive someone or to trick someone, right? So, class, I hope that you enjoyed the session. You learned a couple of things. You got to witness and experience the paper firsthand. Now you know the LOD. You understand the level of difficulty. You understand the challenge. It's important that you brace yourselves up. And then I'll catch you very soon in my next video. Stay tuned. That's all for today. Bye bye.